Okay, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so in order to elevate our life, I'm gonna give you some practical tips that you can use just every day, because I think it is a process. It's not just oh, I wanna think this, but I think there are some practical steps to take to help you go to the next level. These same steps will apply for a lot of different things. When I talk to people about body positivity and changing the way that they think about their bodies, I would pretty much give the same steps. You have to watch what you say, you have to watch what you see, and you have to watch just how you think. And sometimes you have to write stuff down, vision boards, all that stuff comes into play when we are trying to change our minds. And that's what we're doing. We're just trying to reshape the way that we see ourselves. So you can take the same steps and apply them to another aspect of your life, if you don't like your body. So I would say write positive affirmations down so that you can see them every day. Put them on Post-it notes, put them on your mirror, and say I am a successful person. I can have nice things. I can live a good life. I don't have to be subject to my circumstances. Same way we would do that for body positivity and say I am beautiful, I love my arms, I love my legs, I love my body. We're just gonna change that and more gear it towards our lives. So the first step I think would be think about and write down what you think about your life. So if you're thinking about success, what are your thoughts about that? Do you feel you can obtain that? Or do you feel I will never have that? Or that's not for me? Or I'm stuck? Or, just these different negative thoughts that you might have, I would say write those down, because we're gonna have to get rid of those because we cannot think like that. So write that down so we can actually see how we actually see ourselves, right? If you're writing down, I will never have this. Hopefully that's uncomfortable to do, because it's uncomfortable for me to even say that, just because of my background in faith. We just don't talk like that at all. So it's uncomfortable for me to say something like that, but people do think like that. Just the people that message me and say, I will never have that. Only response I have is, if you say you never will, then you never will. I don't even know what else you want me to tell you. But I would say write those things down. But we're not gonna dwell on them. We're just gonna write them down so that we know honestly how we see ourselves and what we think about ourselves. Okay, and the next step is going to be, we're gonna replace those negative thoughts with positive ones. So that's how we get rid of all that negativity, all that self-doubt. So for every negative thing that we have or that we wrote down, let's write a positive. So if your negative thought is, I'm stuck at my job, maybe your positive thought or your opposing thought can be, the sky's the limit, because it's just whatever we think negatively, we need to have a positive statement to combat that. So then we could throw away all the negativity and keep the positive ones. And then we can meditate on those and dwell on those. And then once we have our positive thoughts, we really need to look at those. So if you want to put it on Post-it notes, if you just want to write them in a journal, or just somewhere that you can see them, almost like a vision board, even if it's on a piece of paper and it's on your nightstand or on your mirror or just wherever. I've even seen people that write with a dry erase marker on their mirror positive affirmations. I think that's really great too. Just somewhere where you can see it, and eventually you'll see it so much it'll become your reality. So that is definitely the goal. The next thing I want to say is for tip number 3, change the way that you speak. So each tip is going to take us a little bit further. So we are getting rid of our negative thoughts, we're leaning into our positive thoughts, and now we're going to change what comes out of our mouth. because I mean, just like I said, the Bible says life and death is in the power of tongue. So your tongue is so powerful, and that is going to affect how you think and how you see yourself. So we have to change the way we think. Everybody that knows me, that's like around me a while, I don't say negative things. I don't say negative things about my body, and I try not to say negative things about just like my life in general. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm never gonna get out of this situation, or as far as like work goes, like I'll never work with this brand, or like, oh, they don't work with people like me. I don't say that, because you just never know, and I don't wanna limit myself. I don't wanna limit my thoughts. I don't wanna limit anything, because anything is possible. Like I don't put limits on myself. I don't put limits on my career, on my family. My son is on the autism spectrum. I don't put limits on him. Like nobody has limits. So even though there's things that people may shy away from, like traveling, a lot of people don't like to travel with their children who are on the spectrum just because they're very like unpredictable sometimes. But I don't put limits on him, and I'm like, we're going to do different things. Like we're going to travel, and he loves to travel. And that might not be the reality for every child that's on the spectrum, but you'll never know unless you try. So recently, like he walked in a fashion show, and even my husband was just like, I don't know, if he can do it or if he will do it. And I was like, well, we're definitely gonna try, because I'm not putting limits on him. Nobody is going to have limits here. We're all gonna try to do our best. We're all going to try and break barriers and just be like the best version of ourselves. But that has to do with like the way that we see ourselves and the way that we think. So if you're around me, I don't want anybody saying like, I'm too poor for this, or I'll never be able to do that, or, just like speaking like that. I'm like, don't say that. You never know where you can be in a couple years, even like 1 year. When I first started influencing, I didn't know where it would take me, because things were they're not like how they are now. It was just, I didn't know anybody that was doing it. I didn't know you could get paid. But what if I said like, oh, this will never be my full-time job? It's just like, why would I even put that limit on myself? So it was so crazy to me when somebody sent me a message saying, I will never have a designer bag. And I'm like, wow, you are limiting yourself so much, because if you think that about a designer bag, like, what do you think about the rest of your life? And because it's not really about the bag, it's just like about how you see yourself and how you think. So you have to really, really, really be careful about what you say, because that can just affect your whole life. Okay, tip number 4 is you have to visualize a better life, right? Or a different life. Just visualize the things that you want in life. And that's where I think vision boards come in. They are so powerful. I've been doing vision boards for a long time. My mother-in-law had me do a vision board one time. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid, because I felt like the reason she wanted me to do it was dumb, because she wanted me to use it as an example, like for her. So I was just like, well, this doesn't make sense, because why am I making a vision board for you to use? When I tell you that vision board, I feel like it didn't change my life, but it definitely changed the way I saw myself. So things I put on that vision board, this is when I first started like my blogging journey or my influencing journey. I put on the Statue of Liberty. I put the Paris flag. At the time I wanted to like lose like, I think it was like 50, no, couldn't have been 50, 25 pounds, something like that. I had like this picture of myself, but it was like on Khloe Kardashian's body, her like skinny body. So it was like curvy. Those are the main things I remember. I accomplished everything on that vision board in, I think, maybe in the span of like 2 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, like every time I look back, like that was on my vision board. That was on my vision board. I went to France with a brand. They let me bring Michael. So we did like a whole trip to France, went to Paris, was flued out to New York. That was my first time ever. And I think I actually went a couple times that year. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like everything that I wanted and I put on this board actually came to pass. And that's when I knew like the power of a vision board. And it's not the board itself, but it's just like the power of the practice of like writing the vision and making it plain. because it all goes back to the Bible. So, I mean, it's already in the Bible. So the power of that, like, I realized, like, oh my gosh, this is so powerful. And the fifth step, this is our last step, is sometimes I'm a believer that you have to fake it till you make it. So even though you may not be there yet, I'm not saying you have to like get into a lot of debt or do anything like crazy like that, but just carrying yourself like you are somebody. If you want a promotion or a different job, start dressing like the position you want. I also think clothing is very powerful because I really feel like how you present yourself to the world really like makes a difference. It can make a difference just like in your everyday life, but also like when you go to work. Like you shouldn't go to work just like throw on anything. You have to dress for where you want to go. So visualize yourself as the person that you want to be. So sometimes, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these people that you're like, oh my gosh, you see them, you're like, oh my gosh, who are they? Like they have to be somebody. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes they are literally, they're not a celebrity, they're not anybody that's famous, they're just like a regular person, but they just take so much pride in their appearance. You think that they are like some like very important person. It's weird to talk about myself, but sometimes when me and Mike, my husband, go, especially when we travel, because when we travel, we really like, you know, we do it up. We'll go places and they'll be like, well, where are you guys from? And we're just like, oh, we're from Arkansas. But people think that I don't know, they think we're somebody or something, or like sometimes people think my husband is an actor and he's definitely not, but it's just the way he carries himself. And I will tell you, he has always carried himself like that since we were in college. His nickname was Money Mike. And it was just because of like how he presented himself. And there was like a rumor going around school that he had Louis Vuitton sheets on his dorm bed. It wasn't true, but they just saw him and saw like, I don't know, he just always looked nice. He always like presented himself very like neat. He just always looked nice. So everyone just thought that he was like somebody famous. And then when we traveled, people thought that he was the guy from The Blind Side multiple times. A couple people thought that he was like an athlete. It's solely based on how he carries himself and like how he walks into the room. And I feel like that has rubbed off on me a little bit. Like sometimes people think they're just like, oh, who are you guys? I think it's confidence, it's how you present yourself. It's all those things. So sometimes you have to visualize yourself as the person you want to be. One other short story. I know this lady, hope she does not watch this video, but I know this lady and she always is like dressed up, right? Because I used to work with her husband. So every time we see her, she would be like dressed up, like in suits, like very professional looking, but we knew she didn't have a job. I didn't have a problem with it, but somebody did like say like, why are you always so dressed up? Like, why do you look so nice? Which to me is an odd question to ask someone. It's giving hater, but they were like, why are you always dressed up? And she said, because I'm a brand. That changed my life. And she was right. Like, she is a brand. Like, you are your own brand. And now she has a very, very, very good job. The way she carried herself and the way that she presented herself in the world, I think gave a pathway to the life that she wanted to live. So that is my spiel. Those are my tips. I hope that this was helpful a little bit. Hope it's not like seem too scammy or like, I don't know, too like fantasy, because these things really do work. If you want to change your situation, change the way you live, change yourself, like it starts with your mind. So I hope some of these tips were helpful and practical, and I hope you'll stick around for the series of how to elevate your life. Next one is going to be about laundry. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.